episode.
Woohoo!
Of But Is It?
Yes.
In case you're surprised to be here.
I know.
I need to be reminded.
In case you didn't know.
Where you are.
Which happens.
Yeah. I'm often confused as to where I am.
Yeah.
And why I got there.
Yeah. Especially because I know we talked about this last week, but it's still the same day and for us recording, and like I'm still just combobulated. I don't know where I am right now.
But yeah, I've not been doing as much traveling. I did a little traveling, which I think we've already talked about on a previous episode.
Yeah. You went to the Goonies house.
Yes. But while I was there, I spent some time with my younger sister, who's 12 years younger than me. So she is of a different generation. I think she's a younger millennial and I'm an elder millennial.
Yes. I think you may be in the same generation.
But we are on opposite ends of it. So she definitely is into things that I have not heard of and says things that I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But she introduced me last time I saw her to Chapel Rowan. And I got excited because I had a spin instructor who played Pink Pony Club. And it's one of her songs. One of her like more popular songs about like dancing in a club in like LA, West Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs of hers. Anyways, so then she was playing the music for me and that song came on. I was like, oh my God, I've heard this song. I've heard her.
That's so funny.
And then so she got me into them. So I've been listening to, which I believe is her newest album because it's what she played at like Lollapalooza. And it's just, I love that she's getting so like popular now. Because so then of course I went into the rabbit hole and like found out more about her.
Yeah.
So she got dropped by her label and they signed Olivia Rodriguez instead. So she became super popular.
That was like Newton-John.
Forward a few decades. But and then just recently she was like like in 2021 there's a video of her playing Pink Pony Club on like a keyboard in like a park or something.
Oh my gosh.
Very like humble and like she's struggled to like and then it's just been like a huge like breakout success
she's, like,
recently.
Exploded. I mean, I know her name because everyone's talking about her, but could not pick her out of a lineup, could not name a single song. It's just one of those like where I don't tend to listen to a ton of like I see like new shows and new movies all the time, but I don't tend to listen to a ton of new music.
I don't either.
I think partially because like I don't listen to the radio in my car and just it like auto connects with my phone. And so then I just listen to like the same music I've been listening to for the last 20 years.
Intentionally the radio that only plays things from like 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like Coast.
Oh my God.
Coast is not playing.
Coast 103.5.
They're not playing something as exciting or trendy as Chapel Rowan.
No.
So I've just been listening to her on my Spotify. And like her newest album, like
that is the other thing. I don't subscribe to Spotify. I only have like the ad version, and I get sick of listening to ads every 4 songs.
Oh yeah,
because I'm like I might as well listen to the radio.
Yeah, I have the paid version because I want what I want when I want it.
I refuse.
But I had just downloading her album, the newest one. I forget the name of it, but it's her dressed up like a beauty queen.
I don't know.
And then
couldn't tell you.
Well, and then her song "Feminine Nomenon" has been reused now for Kamala ever since.
Oh, Kamala Nomenon. That's also why I know who you're talking about, but I still could not tell you what the song sounds like.
Yeah, but she's a great artist, and I mean, I feel kind of like bandwagoning a little bit getting into her, but like I do love.
Tamp down those feelings of why you didn't like Britney Spears and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Just like put those away.
Enjoy
it doesn't matter. Enjoy it for what it is.
But she's great, and like I don't know if you know, it's like so she's big on like queer representation.
Sure.
Because I don't know how she identifies. I think lesbian. Like the song "Feminine Nomenon" is all about how men can't get her off.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because Kamala Nomenon, and that's a very strange like presidential reference.
And like "Hot to Go" is I'm pretty sure is about like picking up a girl at the club. Yeah, because she's hot to go.
That just made me think of a cheer. HOTTOGO, warriors are hot to go. Woo, we're hot to go. Okay, I'm done.
Well, there is like a dance and everything to "Hot to Go."
There's like a cheer, like
HOTTOGO.
Oh, I have heard that.
You can take me hot. Wait, you can take me hot to go.
I have heard that song, actually, now that you say it.
Well, and that one was one of the ones that, like, exploded after Lollapalooza, because the scenes of, like, the giant, like, masses of crowds that were just, like, doing the moves. I know, God,
the moves.
The moves. Sorry to people on video, you can't see my hot moves.
Yeah, go back and watch the YouTube if you're just listening.
Yeah, it's more entertaining.
Oh my gosh. If you're just on audio, you're probably like, what are these women doing?
Crazy ladies.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right. Anyway. So if you haven't listened to our songs, go listen to them. They're very good.
You will.
So,
you will.
Yeah. Anyways, we were talking about nothing related. I mean, massive crowds for music, I guess. You could make that link.
Yeah.
We're talking about Turning Red.
You could make that link to boy bands.
Yeah. Because, you know, if you haven't seen it, they are very into a boy band.
Yeah. Oh, if you are listening at home, or if I don't know what the framing is on our video, if you can't see, I'm wearing a New Kids on the Block shirt.
Yeah.
In honor of Mei Ling.
Yes.
Maylin
and her obsession with Four Town.
Yes.
Although there's 5 of them.
It's just like O-Town kind of like homage, I think. Like, yeah.
Oh man, I love it. All right. So let me open up my phone with my, not these notes on my notepad, but these notes on my phone.
So many notes.
All right. So we're Turning Red, which was released in 2022. I didn't realize it was so recent. I thought
really?
I thought it had been a few more years.
I was thinking it was like 2023. I didn't realize it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was like last year.
Produced by Pixar Animation Studios and distributed by Walt Disney. Directed by Domee Shi, who also did the short Bao.
I love Bao.
Screenplay by Julia Cho and Domee Shi, and story by Domee Shi. I spelled it wrong in one place, that's why I did that. Typo. Apologies. Julia Cho and Sarah Stryker. Produced by Lindsay Collins and starring Rosalie Chang, Sandra Oh, Ava Morse. I did phonetic spelling, but then I can't read my phonetic spelling. Heian or Heian?
It might be Heian.
Heian Park. Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. Apologies. I did put the phonetic spelling in here to
You're
do
doing
better.
your best.
Orion Lee, Wei Ching, Tristan Alaric Chen, and James Hong.
Hello, James Hong. Sorry.
Turning Red centers on Mei Lin, or Mei, a 13-year-old girl torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and wanting to express herself through the challenges of adolescence. After an emotional encounter with her mom and a cute boy, also humiliating.
Oh my God. I was just like, no. Please don't. Don't do it.
Mei wakes up as a red panda. She soon discovers she has inherited this from her mother, whose ancestor has passed this gift through the generations of women. Their red pandas emerge whenever they feel strong emotion, but they have all discovered a way to trap their red panda inside a piece of jewelry, so they can lead a normal life without the emotional complication of their panda. While she awaits this ritual, Mei discovers the kids in her school love her red panda, and she and her besties capitalize on it to earn money so that they can go see their favorite boy band, Four Town. Complications arise, and Mei struggles to balance her new confidence as the red panda, but also stay dutiful to her mother. And you can get that on Disney+.
And it is so cute. I will say I had to watch it on the plane, which I've been wanting to watch it since it came out, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And but I wanted to watch it, A, because I wanted to watch it, and B, because of like all the controversy around it. Like I was like, now I really want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I had to watch it on the plane, like on my iPad. So it deserves like a good real watch, which I will do once I'm done traveling. But yeah, so I don't feel like I got like the full experience of it, but I loved it. I loved it.
It's one of my favorite Disney movies that's come out in recent years. Or in any years. Yeah. I watched it for the first time. It was no longer in theaters, but it had just released on Disney+. And I watched it with my daughter and her friend at the time.
Was it the same one you went to see Barbie with?
No.
Different friend.
This was the other friend.
Yeah.
I don't want to name because
don't name drop. I know who you're talking about.
Yes. one that she's not as friendly with her anymore.
I was wondering because I haven't heard her name. So,
yes.
Yeah.
It's like coded.
I know. Sorry. Anyway.
Anyway, so
I just wondered if it was the one from Barbie because she had such like strong feelings about Barbie.
Yes.
So that's why. That's the only reason why.
It wasn't that one. It was the other one. And then I do remember. I think it was either this movie or Encanto, and I can't remember, that I watched with them, and me and Ginny hadn't seen it, but she had, and she kept spoiling it. No. Oh, it's like this. Oh, it's this.
Rude.
This is why this is gonna happen. She's and I'm just like.
You don't need to seem smarter than everyone. I know. There's a friend I have that we've been to the movies together, and sometimes like they'll do that, and I'm just like,
no.
Stop. We know, but we don't say it out loud. But yeah, it's very frustrating. Yeah. So it's fine if I've been to the movie first.
Yes, but I laughed because at the end of the movie, there's like this scene where May is in her panda and she's trying to distract her mom, and she's like, "I'm crass," and she starts like shaking her booty and everything. So my daughter and her friend every now and then would like break out, be like, "We're being crass," and they would like shake their
little booties,
her little 8-year-old butts.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
It was very adorable.
You're like, you got a few more years, girlfriend.
I know. My husband didn't appreciate it as much.
I'm sure. But I mean, like, that's...
Look, if a girl has to twerk, she's got to twerk.
Well, and like, that's the whole point of the movie, right? Yes. Is like, that's the thing, like, they're kids.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
They're not like twerking up against some dude.
Right.
Like, they're just having fun and being silly and doing it at home or, whatever.
It's harmless fun. And it's them, like, just having fun, enjoying themselves. It's silly.
And testing boundaries a little bit. And, like, feeling a little, like, rebellious and, like, they're breaking the rules. And, like, in a totally safe way.
Yes.
They're
not going to get pregnant from twerking at us.
It's ridiculous that this is something we have to worry about. I mean, we've always had to worry about it, but now we have to worry about it, like, even more.
But but I thought it was a great movie. I was happy to have my daughter see it, and, like, something that can help guide her through, like, adolescence is hard, and being 13 is a really hard time. And it's such a time of transition. And, I mean, I think this movie does such a great job because it's a literal transition of, like, this girl who's, like, it is kind of apt that when she first gets her red panda, and the mom is like...
Has the red peony bloomed?
And so for a while she mistakes it that she got her period.
Yeah. Well, I think it is that.
Yes.
It's both.
It's an allegory or metaphor.
Allegory, I think is...
Is that the right word? No, not allegory.
I think it's an allegory. I don't want... Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, so it's a nice to help guide of, like, what to expect.
Yeah. Well, and I think
big change.
And I think too, it's like it is different for everyone. But I don't think that we should shy away from talking about that stuff. There's a really great piece on. I'm gonna post the link. I can't remember, but it's about fibroid. It's like a fibroid website, and they have like a movement that's called End Period Shame, and they did a write up on this, and they were just talking about how great it is that like you see in context, like. They can't even say, like, did you get your period? It's like, did the red peony bloom? And then, but then she shows up with, like, pads and tampons and, like, everything. And it's like, we're just talking about it. Like, because it's a normal part of life that a majority of the population experiences.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be afraid of talking about it. And I think, like, Pixar did, like, such an amazing job of talking about it in a way that kids can understand.
Yeah.
And that is not overtly like medical and and it's not this like sterile conversation about well like this is the sperm meets the ovum and like what I mean, and it's not like that. It's just, but it's a way that is like relatable but not embarrassing.
Yes.
Like, yes, the mother does many, many embarrassing things, but like, it's not an embarrassing movie to watch.
Yeah.
Like I watched it on an airplane. I didn't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. And we should be more open, and it's such a hard time, and it's such a hard conversation that shouldn't have to be hard.
It shouldn't, because we all go through it.
Yeah.
I mean, not we all, but you know what I mean? Like, anyone with a uterus is going to go through it at some point, and like, And we all went through it.
Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of us who didn't have moms around.
Yeah.
But if you went through it with your mom, like, you've been through it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I read it must have been like a Reddit, like, am I the asshole or something?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a girl whose fiance refused to go and buy her tampons. She, like...
Break up.
Well, and it was like, she was in a situation where it came suddenly and heavy. And so she couldn't leave. She couldn't get up.
Yeah.
She was wearing white.
Oh.
I mean, all these, like, stupid circumstances. And he wouldn't go and get her pads because he's like, no, that's inappropriate for me to touch those and get those. Like, I would never.
Do you think they're going to magically make you, like, grow a uterus?
She had to, like, wad up toilet paper. Yeah. Which is so uncomfortable, by the way.
And haven't we all done that? Like, yes. I mean, like, that's the worst.
In an emergency situation, we all have done it.
But we've done it because we didn't have anyone who was available to go get us something.
No. It was like in the middle of school, and it was just like,
yeah.
Oh, shit. Wanted it up, and then, but she was talking about it. She's like, it just doesn't make sense to me because, like, I grew up with my brother, but of course, my brother, who had my mom and had me, it's like we shared a bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, it was all.
This is such a relevant conversation because of Tampon Tim.
Oh my gosh, it was about Walt.
I was just thinking about that. Up. Yeah.
I couldn't remember what the context was.
I was like, this is actually such, like, this movie is such a relevant conversation for us to have right now because it is pre 2024 election day and it is post Kamala Harris picking Tim Walz as a running mate.
Yeah.
And Tim, like, I don't want to go so far as to say, like, I'm more inspired by Tim than I am by Kamala, but, like, I am equally as inspired by Tim as I am by Kamala. Like, he is... Anyway.
I am inspired by Kamala. My heart is warmed by Tim.
Yeah. That's probably a good way to put it. Like, I just am so excited about it. He's just
a good guy.
He's so cute. But so if you don't already know, Tim Walz, while he was governor in Minnesota, signed into law that tampons would be available in both, like, sanitary products, any period products would be available in school bathrooms. Yeah. It was up to the schools and the counties, I think, like, if they wanted to put them in both boys and girls bathrooms or just girls. Like, they had the option. But of course, like, the insane MAGA crowd is, like, running off being like, he forced schools to put them in the boys bathroom. The other part of it is, it is practical because, like, for sports, like, away teams usually use the boys bathroom or the other bathroom, locker room that's not, you know, being used by the home team. And so, like, there will sometimes be girls in the boys' locker room.
I used the boys' bathroom several times because the girls' bathroom was full.
Or that. Also,
just had somebody guard the door.
And, like, now it is more common to have boys who may have periods.
Yeah.
Like, everybody should be able to do whatever they need to do without humiliation.
And, like, what does it hurt?
It doesn't hurt anyone.
It's not, they're not, the tampons don't attack them.
That was one of the things that someone was like, you know, I had 3 brothers and my mom and I and our dad in a house, and we had tampons in the bathroom and nothing ever happened to them. And it's like, at home you would have it.
The boys survived.
Yeah, they will survive. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, but
that's so funny.
It's probably in reference to that.
Yeah, it was definitely about Tampon Tim.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm like, you think that this is an insult.
No, it's
but it's actually pretty cool. And, like, had they not started calling him Tampon Tim, like, maybe we never would have even known that he did that, you know?
I'm trying to remember if we had sanitary products in my girls' bathroom.
I don't think we did in mine, but I went to high school in, like, the 90s.
Maybe?
I can't remember.
But I don't even think we had one of those, like, little coin-operated ones.
I don't think we did either. I can't remember.
Me neither. I was fortunate. And I was just asked another girl.
I think the nurse had them.
Probably.
So, like, you had to go to the nurse.
Yeah.
And be like, can I get
a pad? There were always the giant ones.
Nurse.
The thick ones.
I know.
The ones that they give to, like, women who just gave birth.
I was gonna say, I feel like they're, like, the pregnant ones. Anyway. But yeah, I think just to bring it back to the movie, like, yes, this is a movie about periods and puberty and teens growing up, but I also feel like it is so specifically Asian in that the red panda is not just your period, right? Like, it's your independence, it's your personality, it's your individuality coming out and coming to the forefront. And I think, like, not being raised in an Asian house, but kind of understanding a little bit marginally that culture, like that is like your own individuality and passion and like energy and like vivaciousness is really frowned upon, I think, a lot in Asian culture. And so it's also like this red panda is also like pushing down all that passion and joy and anger and the big feelings, because it's really important to not be expressive in that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had by the end of it, I kind of had a take that I feel like I kind of feel like an interloper, like looking in on this kind of very Asian experience and very like Chinese experience. But I kind of took it as that the red panda for this family kind of represented their Chinese heritage and their that, you know, coming to the United States, then they kind of tamp it down, make it a little less obvious, a little less big, kind of similar to like in Moxie,
Claudia.
where we talked about Claudia.
I was literally just thinking of her.
Of like, as an immigrant, like you don't want to make waves. It's all about being like quiet and calm. And the red panda is like this like big part of their heritage of like, this is their ancestor who called forth and like bonded with the red panda.
The village was like being destroyed and she
saved it, and like this was like this huge part. And then with May, she's like this younger generation that, you know, of immigrant families living in the United States or Canada, North America, because they're in Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
Toronto, I believe.
I think so.
And like this experience of like, no, I'm embracing this part of myself because it is part of myself, and I'm still Canadian, but I'm also this. Yeah. And like both can live and exist in the same space.
Yeah. I think it's a story about like duality, right? And how we can all be more than one thing, you know, whatever it is, like child, but also have a period, you know, be Asian, but still be like loud and boisterous and have these really big feelings, and also like be an immigrant, but still be part of our culture that we were, you know? And I think it generally at the end of the day, it's a story about like self-acceptance and self-love and like individuality, and like how that isn't always a bad thing. Because I think also in Asian culture, like it's much more about the collective and the community rather than just about us as individuals. And I think sometimes like to a harmful point, right? Like as much as like I think Americans need to be much more collective focused and community focused and not so completely individual. I think that like sometimes it can go too far right, where you're not allowed to have a personality. You're not allowed to be an individual. And I think that's changing in both cultures, but I think this is all about just like loving all of those things about yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think it's for everybody. You know, you said you felt like accessible. I know you said you felt like an interloper a little bit. And it's so funny because there was this article, of course, written by like a white guy, where he was like, I think the audience for this is like very narrow. Like there is an audience, but it's not the majority. And somebody was like, but Asians are the majority of the world. Like, but he was just saying like all of these things about how there's like, and there's an article that I'll post the link to, but it was like, I think his name was like Simon McConnell or something. I'm sorry if it's not Simon McConnell to any Simon McConnells out there, but like, but basically this other piece in The Guardian just kind of like ripped him to shreds, being like, oh, so because something wasn't created specifically for you, a white guy, it's inaccessible and is not entertaining and is not like enjoyable to anyone else. And then the article talks a lot more about how like white is the default. And so like it can be harder for like white audiences to identify with stories about people of color because white feels like the default, so this feels like a specialized thing, you know.
And for me it was,
and not that I'm saying that you feel like he does.
Well, and I felt like obviously it was accessible. There were themes in there that like transcend like race, culture, identity, you know, adolescence, coming of age, puberty. That's something that we all go through all across the world. For me it was more that I never want to assume that a cultural or heritage or, you know, I can't think of the right word. I don't want to assume that is an experience that somebody is experiencing, if that makes any sense. Of like, oh, it's, you know.
Do you mean like one Chinese like one Chinese experience is everyone all Chinese experience, or?
Let me back up. I guess I want to assume that this experience that May is going through and assuming that it's, you know, like the whole, like, that it's her embracing her heritage in a way that her family didn't because they're immigrants and they wanted to keep it more at bay.
I see what you're saying.
That's more of like, I don't want to assume that that's an experience that's even happening, but I think that's where it's like, I don't want to like.
But I think research and anecdotal evidence and qualitative data will tell you that that's what happens.
I'm probably being more careful than I need to be.
Maybe a little bit, but I think it's better to be more cautious than not cautious at all, right? And to think like all immigrants do this thing, because we don't. Like, technically, I'm an immigrant, but I was adopted when I was a baby. Like, I was raised in white culture, and I'm probably saying stuff about Asian culture that is probably factually incorrect, but it's just my interpretation or my experience or like my observation. But you know, I don't think that's happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But one of the other things that I realized about this movie is it felt like May was such like a cycle breaker of generational trauma of like having to like keep this like red panda at bay and keep it hidden from yourself, and how harmful that really was, like especially to like her mom, who did eventually choose to like put it back, so to speak.
Well, that's so funny that you say about generational trauma, because I wrote that down too, and I was like, this is generational trauma. And then there's an article, is Pixar's Turning Red movie about periods. And there's a quote in there. Basically, I just wrote it down. I didn't write the actual quote, but it says, what we inherit from our moms, like the trauma that we inherit from our moms. Yeah. You know, and that is really interesting.
Yes. Well, and it's like you see May struggling through the whole thing to live up to her mom's expectations, and because she wants so badly to be a good daughter for her mom. And then the grandma calls, the mom's mom calls, and it's like, don't tell her I'm here. Yeah.
Well, it's the whole, like, that is such a, like, a generational thing. And that is very also, not uniquely Asian, but specifically Asian. I think there is a lot about being the pious daughter, and especially if you're a daughter. And, you know, there's a lot about, like, upholding your family honor and, like, whatever.
Well, and I love that because I feel like that's a theme that's been popping up in a lot of, like, Disney and Pixar movies over the years. Like, Moana, I feel like, was that way to his and Encanto even more.
I will say I haven't watched either of those yet.
Really?
No. I know I need to. I want to. It's one of those things like I want to.
It's like you never think about, like, let me sit down
and watch a Disney movie. Also, it's so funny. I've had this conversation before with other people, and maybe we've had it on the podcast, but like sometimes I'll sit down and I'll think, I can't watch a movie. Like, I don't have 2 hours in me. Like, I need to just watch an episode of something, and then like 5 hours later, I've watched 5 episodes of something, and I'm like, I could have just watched a movie. But a movie is generally not the first thing I think of to watch when I like sit down to watch something. Yeah.
Well, and it's obviously more accessible to me because I have a daughter that's watching all of these, because these are made for her. Yeah. And, you know, so I'm sitting down and watching them with her. Yeah.
So. But yeah, I mean, so I also really like the way they play with, like, speaking of generational trauma, like the way that they play with the generational differences too. Because it's like the way that things were for our parents isn't the way they are for us. Yes. And so, you know, Maylin might be able to embrace her red panda more because she doesn't have all of those, like, same, you know, inhibitions put upon her as, like, her mom did, and especially her grandma, and before, you know, and I think that's really, like, I really liked how they played with, like, all of the generational differences too. Yeah.
And I love, I mean, this is kind of a tangent. I love the friendship group, the 4 of them.
Oh my gosh, I know.
But part of that is, like, it's such 4 very different girls, but we've got, you know, Maylin, who's Chinese, and then her friend, I forgot the name, Abby, who is Korean, and Ava is white, and Priya, who's Indian. And so you've got this, like, really, like, diverse group of girls, and so I'm like, it's like we're moving into this place where now I'm sure she felt more comfortable and more represented and more seen and more able to be more herself. Yeah. Because she's surrounded by all these girls who are also more themselves in a way that each one looks different, behaves different, has a different personality,
has different strengths and like different things they bring to the table, right? Especially when they're like making the videos and like doing all this stuff with the red panda.
Oh my god, and when they all sing to her when she's the red panda, when they find her, it's like, oh,
it's so
you guys call me, it's our love.
Yeah. Well, and I love that it's like, it's not her mom.
No.
that calms her.
It's her friends.
It's her friends.
And how important it is at that age to have friendships like that.
Like strong friendships where you have each other's back and where you can tell each other when you messed up and then still forgive each other. It's not like we're never going to be friends again because you hurt our feelings, you know? It's like, you did this and it hurt us. And oh yeah, I was wrong. And like,
I apologize.
Yeah. Okay, we're friends.
Yep.
Okay, we're cool.
Let's go watch Four Town. I love the scene.
My God, the panda.
They do spoiler alert, they do finally make it to the Four Town concert.
Oh my gosh.
Things go bad. And then when they're there, they find Tyler, who's like, what do they call him, a Four Townie?
Yeah, or something like that.
And then they just like embrace him and like, now the 5 of them are besties.
Yeah, after he's been such a jerk.
He has been rude, but you know.
Yeah.
Love of, you know, boy
love
bands.
Love of boy bands surpasses. It transcends all differences. Boy band love.
Yep. What did I put?
I'm just thinking about my friends that I used to go like to all the New Kids shows with, and I haven't gone in a long time just because I think like for me I'm kind of like, well, as much as I did love the New Kids on the Block, I was much like, I think I was so young, and like those friends that I was going with, like some of them were a little older, and so like it was really like their teenagers. It was my like elementary school years. Like my teenagers were the Backstreet Boys. Like I would if I had a bunch of friends who would like go see the Backstreet Boys over and over, like that's what I would do, you know. And I kind of just started feeling like their shows kind of felt the same all the time. Like I ended up starting to go more for the guest artists, like the opening acts, you know. Yeah. Because they'd have like Salt and Pepper, and like last time I went, they had En Vogue and Salt and Pepper, so cool. And like a bunch of other people, and like I really wanted to go this past year because they had Paula Abdul again. Oh yeah. Who I love, but I just didn't make it. But yeah.
Yeah. I put it's the beautiful harmonizing of Four Town that saves the day.
It is. From a gigantic, she was so big.
I know, she was a very big red
She was
panda.
A giant panda. So in part of the story is like, you know, they trap their red panda in jewelry, and it's the grandma and all the aunties that come back to like save the day, and they've all released their pandas, but Sandra, the mom's panda, is just like giant, so it takes all the pandas to like bring down this like crazy rage beastie panda. And she's just huge. Yes, she's huge. And I love when May is like, you didn't tell me she was this big.
The dad.
I know, I love the dad.
So sweet.
What a great example of a dad too.
He said people have all kinds of sides to them, May, and some of them are messy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's beautiful.
That's the way it is. Yeah.
He was like the perfect husband for Ming Lee, who's the name of the mom, because he was so, even though she decided to, you know, keep it down, he was so supportive of like, this is just a part of who you are. And then when May starts to, you know, has her red panda, it's like, this is just part of who you are, and it's messy and it's hard and it's challenging. Yeah. But like, it's part of you.
Well, and I think he like tries to let them have this experience because he knows it's not his. Yeah. But then at some point he's like, okay, I have to speak up. Yes. And like, this is fine. Yeah. It's fine. Who she is fine. And I love that. I just, I really love this movie. I can't wait to watch it again because it was just, I just loved every part of it. Yeah. It was fun. It was funny. Yeah. And it was heartwarming. I know.
It was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, but the scene in the convenience store.
Oh my god, it's humiliating.
The mom character is like over the top, but I'm also like, that's a little real. Yeah. It's like the circumstances are wild, but the intention is real.
Well, she never gets mad at May for any of it. May never gets in trouble until she admits, because it's always this assumption that
it's
somebody else is doing it to her baby, her angel baby. And so she's like, her friend has a crush on like the clerk at this grocery store, and she starts thinking, he's not even that cute.
Well, the whole time it's like May is like, ugh, like that's a boy, this is a man, and then she shows up, like she holds up like a poster of Four Town or whatever.
Those are men.
And these are men, and you know, and then all of a sudden, just like instantly, she looks at him, she's like, oh,
okay. And so she's, and I used to do the same thing because like,
It's like so fanficky.
We didn't have like Facebook and stuff. So
yeah.
we now I think kids just like look up pictures.
Yeah.
We were just drawing pictures.
Yeah, like we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So she like gets under her bed and like all secretive and like drawing like pictures of him as like a mermaid kissing him and
yeah,
like,
it's just funny.
And then she finds it and takes it down.
The mom finds it.
Takes it down to the
like, who did this to you? Did he do this to you?
Did this boy do that? He kissed you.
Yeah.
What are you? Stay away from my baby.
Yeah.
And
oh
just
my
like
God. Just
humiliation. Drops the pictures onto the. I mean, just terrible.
And then like she shows up at school, like hiding behind a tree.
Yes. You forgot your pads.
Oh my God. Like, come on.
Just take them to the nurse in a bag.
Like,
and have them like, or the office.
Yeah.
And have the office take them to like. Come on.
Right. Like,
but you know,
come on.
Plot devices. She needed to turn into the panda for the plot to
the whole thing
go forward.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, there was one quote from Ming Li too. Just look at talking about 4town. Mm-hmm. I keep wanting to call it 4chan. That's totally different.
Totally different.
Look at those glittery delinquents with their shutter gyrations.
Oh, moms.
Glittery.
I just can't wait to see how you are with your daughter.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a mess. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I'm gonna have to like hold you back physically.
Probably. The hardest part for me is gonna be when she won't tell me things. I mean, I already feel that, but
yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't she already not tell you?
I can get her to tell me little things, just not details.
Yeah.
Because she's not big on details, that one.
She's not anyway. I asked how the trip was, and she was like, it was good. I was like, what'd you enjoy? Stuff. I was like, okay, but like what stuff? Like, did you do anything? No, not really. And I was like, I know you did all these really cool things. Like, what did you like about it? Like, did you like the ice cream? Did you like the Goonies house? Did you like the... And she was like, well, you already know what I did. I was like, child. I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to get you to like speak to people.
But then sometimes like once you get her started, she doesn't stop. She gets that from her dad.
True that. Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. And like, it's just funny because like I would have hated that when I was a kid too.
Yeah.
But I did like in the restaurant when something happened and I was like, leave her alone. And she goes, thank you. I was like, Beth, leave her alone. She's a little kid. I think you were like trying to like hug on her or something.
Oh.
And she was like on the other side of me and then you were on this and you like were on the opposite side. And I was like, oh, leave her alone. She's just a kid. I was like, you're embarrassing her. And she leans over. She was like, thank you for saying something. I was like, girl, I'm gonna let her embarrass you more, but like also this time. I'm not always gonna be there.
Oh man. Yeah, I just can't help myself.
I think it's because she had camp the next day and so you were just
I just picked her up. Was it?
No,
oh, no
it was before.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And so you were like trying to hug on her for a week's worth of cuddles.
I missed her.
I was really worried I was gonna have to like come down to your house and like stop you from driving up to go get her early.
Yeah. It was fine. They did post pictures and that helped. But yeah. It's very weird not being in contact with your child for a week.
You better get used to it at some
this
point.
age.
Yeah. I mean, she's 9, right?
Yeah.
So like I get it.
But yes.
So yeah.
Nothing like that mom-daughter bond.
Yes. I mean, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. My mom, I love my mom. Yeah, favorite quote?
I think that was pretty much it. The quote from the dad, and then glittery delinquents.
Yeah.
What about you?
My panda, my choice.
Oh, I love it.
It's a good one.
It's perfect.
It's a good one.
I also wrote down from the beginning, I accept and embrace all labels.
I like it. I will say this is probably like the most progressive thing from like Disney that
I definitely think so.
I've seen in a long time. So.
Yeah. Good on you. Keep going.
Good job. Do better. Continue to do better. I
yes.
mean. Like this was better. This was better, but like
moving
continue.
in the right direction. You just have to keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I think Pixar's always been a little bit more ahead of the curve than Disney anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Well, yeah.
I think that's it for today.
Go check it out. I'll have lots of links for this one in the description because like I did open up a lot of articles, but they kind of were all saying what I thought already.
Yeah, I didn't have as many.
Yeah. I'll have a lot for this and for last week's too.
Nice.
Parks and Rec. There should be a lot. People had a lot to say.
Yes, people do have a lot to say. I've been skipping out on a lot of that stuff.
I just am interested because I was on the plane, so I didn't take a ton of notes for this one, so I wanted to kind of like refresh and think about it, and Parks and Rec because I hadn't seen it in so long. I was like, I need to like refresh, and I kind of want to see what some of the discourse is and was.
I keep finding myself on Reddit threads, which give me a good breadth of what people are saying. But not worthy of actually linking. I don't look at
Reddit. I look at like articles.
Actual
like
articles.
I mean, they're opinion pieces. They're not really articles, but I want to be very clear about the distinction. I think we need to start being like more clear about journalism and what is what. Yes. Like opinion pieces are not necessarily articles, but just like reviews and kind of like think pieces on them.
I've been trying not to as much because I feel like I let them sway what my actual opinion is. But some of the Reddit stuff, I'm just getting a sense of like, what are people saying about it? Yeah. How do people feel about it?
For me, I don't think it sways my opinion so much as like it will enforce what I already think, or it will make me think about like, is my opinion really my opinion? Yeah. Let me think about this a little bit more. Yeah. But I'm pretty opinionated in general. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any articles for this one.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. All right.
And don't forget to have thoughts, opinions, and questions.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
But Is It Podcast is produced by Traci, Mueller, and Beth Hofeldt.
The artwork is by Anna Apperson.
And music by Devin Wall.